I'm Sherilyn Skolnicki, and this is Brilliant Balance, the show for working women who are ready to shine. Each week, I bring you ideas, inspiration, and insight on balance, business, and getting it all done gracefully. You ready? Let's be brilliant. This is episode 202 of the Brilliant Balance podcast, 3 keys to a smooth morning launch. So, hello, my friends. Welcome back to the show. As I was thinking about what to share with you this week, I was getting question after question after question, or I should say response after response after response to a little survey that we posted in our Facebook group. If you're not there already, it's the Brilliant Balance group in Facebook. You can go search for it, request to join, and we will welcome you to the tribe over there. But anyhow, we put a survey request out about kind of what's on your mind. What are you thinking about? What are you worrying about? What are some of the topics that you want to hear about? And I will tell you that what rises to the top over and over again is productivity. All things related to how do I get the things done? You know, how can I be more productive? How can I make better use of my time? How can I optimize the way my day flows or my week flows? And so I was thinking about that. I was influenced by that in today's episode. I was thinking about, as a mom, for all the years that I have been sending children to school, which, you know, my oldest daughter is a junior in high school now. So it's been a minute that I've been doing this. And then as it got more complicated with 2 and then 3 children, now in different school buildings with different schedules, you know, my husband and I kind of going in 2 different directions with work. Something that I have always really worked to optimize is what I call the morning launch. So this is that period of the day when you are trying to get everyone off to their thing, you know, whatever their thing is. And you're trying to get yourself settled in to get started on whatever your day holds and get your children, if you have them, to where they belong. And it's always been my belief that a good day starts with a good morning, right? When you have a crappy morning and people are running late and they're frustrated and people are yelling at each other or crying or they can't find things, like, not that I have ever had any of those experiences, you know, it does not start the day off on the right foot. So I think optimizing the morning, trying to do everything we can to make that morning period really pleasant and smooth, it just has such a big payoff in the rest of the day. And I teach about this in our coaching programs, specifically Beginnings, which is one where we're focused on productivity, and then also in Breakthrough, which is our signature program where we're really helping people put a set of blueprints together for how do you want your life to look, right, across all the vectors. Both of those, we talk a lot about this morning launch idea. It comes up in workshops. When I did the back to school workshop, if you attended that, you would have heard me talk about how important this phase is. But I thought maybe this is worth a podcast episode to just really underline the ideas here. Because I know sometimes we hear these things and then we sort of let it wash over us, but we don't take action. And I want to make this really simple for you to take action against today. So I'm going to give you my 3 keys for how you can have a smooth morning launch to get your day and everyone else's day off to a great start. And I'm going to use 3 S's today to help you remember, right? When you press play on this episode and when it's over, I want you to be able to go back to your day and think, right, there were 3 S's, and that'll help you get through remembering them. So the first key is staging, okay? Because a smooth morning really starts at night. It starts the night before. And the night before is when I think about staging things. So staging, what I mean by that concept is essentially laying things out, finding them, tracking them down, thinking about what you're going to need and what all the other people living with you are going to need, and putting them in a place where they cannot be missed or forgotten, right? Between the time you go to bed at night and when it is time to walk out that door, they're not going to grow legs and walk away, right? As my mom used to say. So staging all the things. Here are some things you might want to think about handling the night before so that you don't have to think about these in the morning. Clothing. What is everyone wearing? I bet you do this for your children, especially if they're young, right? You're not doing this for your teenagers. You probably do this for your children. If you don't, this is a great time to start. Do you do it for yourself? Do you think about, what am I going to wear tomorrow? Is it clean? Is it ironed? Can I find it? Do I know where the shoes are, right? All the components of getting yourself dressed as well as getting the children dressed. The number of mornings that have been ruined over looking for, a pair of socks for a kid, or where are those shoes, or where are the gym clothes, right? Having clothes, all the clothes that are needed for after school practices, for the school day itself, for gym if they need to change, making sure that those are found and they're clean and they're in a place where you can get to them. That is level 1 staging. Also think about the backpack, right? And not just the backpack, but all the things that need to be in the backpack that day. So this includes the books that were taken out for homework, the laptop, if they have one, is it charged? The homework itself, has it made its way from wherever it was being done back into the backpack? Again, not that I have ever had that problem, more times than I can count. Have you thought about other things that need to go in, like permission slips, or special things that they have to take in because that day is muffin day or that day is show and tell, right? So you want that backpack totally packed, zipped up, ready to go the night before. So we're not running around looking for things. Lunches. Lunches are another Waterloo, right? We could probably do a whole episode on lunches. Maybe I will one day. But getting a lunch together, if you are packing a lunch or packing a snack, having as many components of that done the night before as possible. Now, I will admit, and I say this in the workshop that I do on Back to School, I am a stickler for a fresh sandwich. If you're taking a sandwich, I do not think packing it the night before is a great idea because I think it just is not so good the next day. But if your children will eat a sandwich made the night before, great. Or if they're taking a salad or whatever it is, if you can get as many components of that lunch packed, so all they're doing is reaching into the refrigerator and grabbing that lunch box to leave, that's fantastic. I am a fan of like the reminder note. So for example, if the water bottle gets forgotten or the lunchbox gets forgotten, or that's it's not a habit yet, you can just put a note to yourself right on top of the backpack. Hey, grab the water bottle and the lunch. So you're just thinking ahead. This whole idea of staging is, what am I going to need in the morning to get out the door? Have I already sort of thought through that before my brain turns off for the night, so that in the morning, it's just one less thing to think about, right? That it's really a simplification strategy. A good morning, a smooth morning really starts the night before. And this staging activity is huge. You also want to think about like a solid bedtime, right? So a cranky kid in the morning or a cranky you in the morning who's really raw and tired does not help the mood in the house in the morning. So a smooth morning launch starting at night could be, did everybody get to bed on time? Did you take those devices away and charge them someplace not in everybody's rooms? Ours right now are charging in the hallway outside of the bedrooms. And that's a great place to think about. They're easily grabbable in the morning on the way out the door, but they're not kind of taunting them and tempting them, as they're trying to go to bed. So staging things the night before is the first key to really having a smooth morning launch. Okay, hopefully you'll grab something from just that piece already that's valuable. Do you ever find yourself saying, I just need a minute to breathe? While the whole idea of meditation can sound totally intimidating, I've found that stepping away from the chaos of life, even just for a few minutes, is incredibly restorative. So if you're short on time, but could use a few moments of peace right about now, listen to my 5-minute meditation for working moms. It'll help you clear your head and come back to your day feeling centered and refreshed. Head over to brilliant-balance.com/breathe. Press play and settle in for a few mini moments of peace right now. Here's the second one. The second key to a smooth morning launch, I'm going to call sequence. This is the second S, sequence. This is like, what is your order of operations in the morning? I want you thinking like you are running a TQL logistics department, right? You want to write down the steps of kind of, let's just call it the perfect morning or the ideal morning. What happens in what order? How long do things take, right? So this might look, I'll make it up as I go along. Your alarm goes off at 6 a.m. By 6:05, you have your teeth brushed and your contacts in and your face washed, right? By 6:10, you have your workout clothes on. By 6:50, you're done working out and you're getting in the shower, right? That's what I mean when I say like write down the steps. What are the things that actually have to happen both for you and for anybody you're responsible for, right? Like your children or whoever you're helping get ready in the morning. Do you have to feed the dog? Do you have to take care of some other kind of animal? What are those steps that happen that are part of that morning launch? I want you to write them down just one time ever. You're not going to write this down every day. Write them down one time and sort of play with that order, right? You want to play with the order until you go, that looks doable. That looks like I could actually execute my morning like that. And then you're going to practice. So we're dropping this episode here midstream, right? School has started. We're going to drop this midstream. But I want you to still give yourself maybe a week where you're running this sequence and you're practicing and optimizing, kind of making little tweaks and changes, reordering things, because you need to be able to run this like a freaking NASA pilot, like you have to be, this is my startup sequence and I can do this with my eyes closed. I know the order of things I have to check and do and handle so that it's like a well-oiled machine, okay? Because we all know you're never going to get this perfect day. You're never going to get this ideal, but we want to be clear about what it would look like if we could execute it that way. And a hot tip for this is thinking about, if you heard me rattle off like, okay, your alarm goes off, you brush your teeth and wash your face, you put your workout clothes on, etc. Notice I was not taking care of anybody else in that little section of the day. And that's by design. If it is possible for you to structure this morning launch so that you are taking care of yourself and only yourself first, and then you're going, okay, now it's time to add the kids to the mix, right? I'm going to now go wake up the children, or they're going to be waking up, and now I'm going to give them my attention and be supporting them in brushing their teeth and making their bed and getting their clothes on and having their breakfast and all the things that they need. If you're done before you start with them, that's amazing. It doesn't work for every life stage, right? I'm a realist. I'm raising 3 children. I get this. So there will be stages or seasons of life where you are doing this in tandem, right? It's like a tandem skydive in the morning. You're doing something and then they're doing something. And plenty of times that has been the case where, in fact, these days, what my actual life would look like is I have a little bit of time totally to myself. And then I'm sort of in more of a tandem process where I can wake 2 of my children up and then I can go get in the shower. And then by the time I'm out of the shower, I might be available to them to help with something. And then I'm sort of doing the next phase of getting ready. And then I'm helping them get breakfast and out the door. And then I'm finishing, right? So you can do this like you're tagging in and tagging out. But really think about the sequence of what happens in what order. Okay. And one thing you can think about is timestamps along the way. Like if you can have in your mind, what do you need to have done by when? Like I need to be out of the shower by, I'm going to make this up again. The times won't match up with what I said before. I need to be out of the shower by 7:05. I need to be dressed by 7:20. The kids need to be in the kitchen by 7:35. Like if you know those, then you kind of have little guideposts along the way to say to yourself, am I hitting my mark? Like if you were running laps at a track and you were like, okay, what was my first lap? What was my second lap? These are like lap timers that you can pay attention to know, do I need to simplify something on the fly here, right? If I'm running behind for whatever reason, is there a step I can take out of the process? This is why God invented dry shampoo, y'all, right? Because of the mornings we're running behind. This is why he invented the Keurig machine that can produce that cup of coffee in 30 seconds. Or, the Cliff Z-Bar that you can hand to the child as breakfast when nothing else is going to get done. So you want to have those simplification options in your mind of, you know what? I am not where I need to be. It is 7:25 and I am not dressed. Or it is 7:35 and those kids are not in the kitchen yet. So then you can actually simplify things along the way, okay? That ability to course correct, to sort of make a change quickly and accommodate something that's not going according to plan is really important in this sequence. But it starts with knowing what is the ideal. Do I have an order of operations of how this morning should run? Do I even know? How does it all fit? And here's one of the reasons that's so critical. The sheer amount of time that you give yourself in the morning is a big X factor. And I suspect that somebody listening today, maybe it's you, is going to realize I am just not giving myself enough time in the morning. And it's feeling bad every day because these steps I have to execute don't fit. They just don't fit into the amount of time that I've given myself. Okay, so that brings me to the third S, the third key, which is space. Space. I want you to give yourself some wiggle room. I cannot emphasize this enough. Build in some wiggle room. This is not mission impossible. We don't have to engineer this thing to the fractions of a second, photo finish out the door. 15 minutes extra, 20 minutes extra as padding, right? As some wiggle room in this morning launch is golden. It is golden because it gives you the space for the things that will inevitably go wrong. Because they can and they will. Right? It's like Murphy's Law of parenting, right? It's something will go wrong. So that extra bit of time is where that doesn't cause a disaster. It doesn't kick off a domino effect where everything that follows it is affected. Okay, examples of actual things that have happened in my household, maybe in yours. Like you wake up and find out that carefully laid out outfit for your child, that the dog has eaten a piece of one of those shoes. That is an actual real life story, that happened in my house. I'm sure you have your own. The garage door won't go up and you can't get the car out of the garage. Or you get a phone call in that precious amount of time in the morning launch, right? Like the phone rings and you're like, I actually have to take this. And it eats up precious minutes that you needed. Or heaven forbid, the coffee maker won't work or start. We have 2 coffee makers in my house because I love both of them differently. So we have a Keurig machine and we have a Nespresso machine. And that Keurig sometimes gets clogged up and the coffee just will not come out of it. And if you have one, you may have had this experience. Keurig people, do not call me, but because it's fine, we fixed it. But that clogging up or realizing I really want to have this coffee and it just won't come out of the machine, right? Could happen. You may need time to unclog it. Or maybe you've had this one, somebody has to use the bathroom, and you don't want your child to be uncomfortable and to have to go into school in that state. So any of those things could happen and they could take some time, and giving yourself a little bit of extra space, a little bit of extra wiggle room is the thing that keeps you from becoming, a screaming banshee at that time. It's what allows you to stay you need a little time to find a new pair of shoes for today. It's okay. Or, hey, just let me get this coffee maker working again before we leave. 15 or 20 minutes built into the amount of time that you're allotting before you have to leave the house is everything. It's everything. Okay. So if you have been wrestling with the morning launch as school has started this year, and God willing, I hope your children are back in school. Mine are in-person school. Staging the night before, sequencing your morning, remember, you're a NASA engineer working your way through that sequence, and then creating space, enough space that you have wiggle room in that morning can really smooth out the way your morning feels. Okay. I want you to try those things. I want you to think about your own morning and really engineer a morning that works for you. If it turns out you have to wake up a little earlier, then that's what it means. If it turns out you have to handle a few more things the evening before so that you don't have to wake up earlier, that works too. Okay. I want you to have really practical ideas that you can apply that will make you feel like you're calm, you're in control, you are on top of things. If you want more ideas like this one, you might want to head over to the website. So brilliant-balance.com, there's a page of free resources. It just says it right at the top, free resources. Click there. It'll take you to several different free downloads that are all designed to give you practical help like this episode today. Also, I mentioned at the beginning, if you're not in the Brilliant Balance Facebook group, come join us. Just go to Facebook, go to groups, search Brilliant Balance, and we will let you in on the party that's going on there. Thank you for listening today. That is all that I have for you, my friends. Till next time, let's be brilliant.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.